We're into it. League season. Intensity is increasing, but we're staying connected with the game, always looking to improve, looking to get better. Again, we're doing it today by looking at plays. How many? 5. 5 plays. Stick around. Greetings, everyone. Welcome back. 5 Play Friday. My name is Greg Austin with A Better Official. We craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. We do that by looking at all of the things on plays. We're looking at plays today with our very first play. Guess what? It's a you make the call play. Not block charge for a change. What do you have on play number 1? All right, dribbler down. Ruled a legal play. Do you agree? Legal play? Illegal? What do you have on this play? Make your ruling. Put it in the comments below and stick around to the end of the video where we'll look at all of the things on play number 1. All right, with that, let's move on. Play number 2.
Going to bump the defender. Matthew Zobris with it. Gets it across barely. Ball now over.
All right, a really great example of the dribbler 3 points rule. A player who is dribbling from the backcourt to the front court in order to establish front court status, all 3 points. This is great because we have a situation where, if we look at it closely, we have the left foot in the front, the ball in the front, and then goes back, right? So it's great to see, they could then have done the same thing with the right foot in the front and the ball in the front and then come back, etc. You can do this dance near the division line. This is a good play to look at. And again, many officials think that 3 points, that language applies in other situation. It refers specifically to this scenario. A player dribbling from the backcourt to the front court may do this dance around the division line until all 3 points are established in the front court. The ball does not gain front court status. So even right here, when the ball is dribbled in the front court, it contacts the front court. It is still in the back court by rule. So it's great to see that play in the wild. Again, just reinforcing our understanding that when a dribbling from the backcourt to the front court, all 3 points must be established. Now, one aspect of this play that we look at, right? So our calling official or a trail official who does not make a call does a great job here of not ruling anything illegal, because what do we expect in this situation? Energy in the building goes up. Like the people in the stands, come on, that's backcourt, right? The coach in this instance, he's thinking the same thing. Making the proper non-call in this situation is great. Going and facing the coach in that situation when live play, probably not the best habit. One of the things that I find personally when I'm engaging with a coach during live play, even out of the side of my mouth, adjacent, it's distracting and we're not necessarily at our best as officials. So we just want to identify those situations in our game, something that comes out of that play. But a great, correct no call by our trail official on this play. A great example of backcourt to frontcourt dribbler action and what's legal for players to do. Okay, 3 points. Dribbler, backcourt, frontcourt, 3 points. I have 1 point, and that is we've got a tremendous group of show supporters. Who's up on the show supporter big board today? Ted Haeder, Randy Wilson, James M. Warrior Savage, and Chad Hartley. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? There's a link on the screen. It's in the show description. It's in the first pinned comment, and I will put one up above. All right, fantastic. Let's look at our next play. It's a good one. It's a hard one. Let's take a look. All right. Hard foul. In transition, a large player swings a very large arm, contacts a player in the head, causing a violent neck movement, and yet we are not upgrading this play. We have a double whistle. Interesting scenario to me, and it brings up a couple of key points, right? So first of all, let's look. Before we look at the nature of the foul itself, let's look at the game situation. We have just started the second half. One team is ahead, basically 40-15. This is a blowout scenario. When we take to the court in this situation, we've probably discussed what kind of game that we have. What are we looking for? We're looking for frustration by our team that is getting beaten badly. We're looking for any taunting or overly celebratory action by our team that is ahead. They are putting a beat down on this team. And we need to be ready when we take to the court in the second half. We recently had a play where we had the unofficiated elbow on a free throw in exactly this situation. We're basically 45 seconds into the second half, and we have a violent action by a player on the losing team, whose team is getting beaten badly. So this is a great reminder when we take to the court in the second half or in the fourth period, when we have this situation, we may have players who are out to show their frustration about the fact that they're being beaten so badly. Now, to me, this is clearly a play that we need to upgrade. This is excessive contact. This is a head contact on an airborne player. We see the impact of the head contact on this player. We see subsequently the player, after the foul, goes towards our player who's on the floor. I mean, these are all elements on the play that to me, we have to upgrade this. We've just started the third period. Are we going to allow this kind of contact going forward? It's going to have no impact on the game. It has no impact on this player. It's not like if we upgrade to flagrant, then it would. This play needs to be upgraded. This contact, whether you deem that they're going for the basketball or not, this contact, NFHS says we're really, really concerned with concussions. It's really important not to allow rough play and protect players and try to avoid concussions, right? And we can't do that in most situations, But in this situation, we can penalize this activity. This is a play that should be upgraded at minimum to intentional. If you want to have a discussion about flagrant, I think that is certainly on the table as well. But takeaways here: if you are in the game is decided situation, be it at the start of the second half, the start of the third period, or later in the game, right? We're looking for the things that can make our game go sideways. And this would be one of them. And, another question to ask is, are we really ready to officiate when we're coming out at halftime? This is going to be an easy game because, it's already decided. We're just in game management, etc. Maybe we lower our guard a little bit. So great takeaways from that play for me. I really like looking at all the things on that play. That awesome clip was submitted by Young Yip. If you have a play to submit, there's a link on the screen. You know the spots, show description, first pinned comment. Okay, I'll put one up above. Submit your play and it may appear on a future episode of 5 Play Friday. All right, let's move on. Next play. This is a correctable error play. Let's take a look at all the things.
You know how NBA gets one-off jersey for one game? Special games here and there?
That's the league.
Yeah. Sometimes you see that when the boys were popular.
Yeah.
It's not correctable anymore. Once they pass the ball in, they can't fix that. That's what I learned from that podcast. Yeah, it's correctable until they inbound the ball. Now they got to talk about it.
All right, correctable error situations are hard, right? This clip, we usually don't get to see correctable errors play out in this fashion, so this is great. Odd angle from the end line here, but we see all of the things on the play. There are so many positives displayed by this crew. These are great habits and fundamentals as a crew in dealing with the situation, etc. In the end, though, we end up with an incorrect ruling. Correctable error situations are hard. One of the reasons is they're hard, we have to recall what has happened over a period of time. Let's say, a full 60 seconds between when we should have awarded merited free throws and we failed to do it. And then we need to figure out what the correct administration of what's going to happen next. In this situation, our crew, first of all, our crew chief on the game collects the ball, gets both teams to their benches, knows we have a correctable error situation, we have things to figure out, and comes together as a crew. What are we going to discuss? Is this within the correctable error time frame? Right? That's always critical. But even before we do that, a great habit and fundamental is to identify what is our point of interruption, because we may forget that. What was our point of interruption here after the offensive foul on the throw-in where we should have administered merited bonus free throws. The point of interruption was white, throw-in, end line. So we have had a change of possession. That's critical to the administration of what happens next. Also in this situation, our crew, understanding that, wait a minute, we should have awarded merited free throws, rescinded the foul on the player who committed the offensive foul on the throw-in, thinking that we rescind fouls in that period, that interim period, but that's incorrect. We only rescind fouls in that instance when it is during unmerited free throws. If the team only had 4 team fouls, the player is awarded 2, and on the second of 2, we have a foul by one of the players in marked lane spaces, let's say, then we would rescind that foul because it occurred during unmerited free throws. That is not the case in this situation. So our correct adjudication and administration should have been 2 free throws to the offended player with the lane cleared, and then a throw-in to white for the team control foul by the player on the throw-in. We should have the foul on the player who committed that team control foul should have stood, and we would resume the game from there. That would be the correct administration on this play. Again, these situations are hard. Our official here does a great job. Coach, I need you coaching your team. Again, we are going to discuss it, etc. We do note that the white coach was at the division line on the court, yelling to the officials that that's a correctable error situation. Of course, we know the proper protocol is for them to go to the table and request that the officials be alerted that they are requesting a timeout for the review of a correctable error situation. It's important to put all of these things in place. If it is deemed that it is correctable, that timeout would be rescinded and we would resume the game in the appropriate fashion. So great to see this all play out. Super positive takeaways from the crew about doing all the right things, identifying we have the situation, coming together as a crew, making your ruling, right? In this case, we got it wrong, but we do our best, right, to make the correct ruling on this play and then proceed from there. So, positives, negatives. When I first viewed this play, I got it completely wrong. Right? It happens. The key thing, though, for me is, in retrospect, is before we go into that conversation, what is the point of interruption? Because that's going to determine what we do next. If the point of interruption was Black had inbounded the ball, dribble. Hey, ref, horn. Hey, ref, that should have been bonus. What's the point of interruption? Black has the ball. After there had been no change of possession, then we would simply resume with players on the lane. If there has been a change of possession, as it was in this case, then we would want to identify that, and that's going to really affect what happens next on this play. So, correctable error scenarios, they're difficult. It's good to walk through the scenario, think through all of the things, how we proceed. Again, take all of the positive habits of this crew in this situation and apply them to your game. But in the end, make the correct adjudication. Did it have a great impact on the game? You're just going to do the best you can in that situation. You're just going to do the best you can. So, awesome. All right. As we've talked about, correctable errors, super difficult. We do have an opportunity for correctable error training available. I will put a link on the screen. You know, I'll put it up above. All right, moving on. Next play. Yeah, get ready for this one.
Remind you of Matt a little bit. Left-handed Matt Anderson. That was the comparison Coach Fechner gave us tonight.
Nice mid-range jumper from Anderson. That's off the mark.
There again, Matt sort of fading away on that one.
Ward by Cloth. It's going to be an offensive foul tied up with Ryan Cooper there. Still a little bit of an elbow. And now he's squaring off you again.
Good job by the official there. Yep.
Really nice job.
Yep.
They're shaking hands. They're getting it worked out.
Competitive people, it happens. Ref did a nice job. Ryan and Rhett did a nice job. It's two guys going at it. That happens sometimes. 5.5 left in the second quarter here. Jack Cloth into the game.
Both coaches took them out too.
Yep.
Let them catch their breath. Cool it for them.
Okay, that's unfortunate. To me, this is clearly a flagrant foul. Without question. Without question. How we come out with common foul here, even if we think like White was like grabbing his arm at that, come on, man. Come on. This player knew where the player was, saw their location, swung violently with their elbow. Was this contact violent and savage in nature? Yes. Yes, this is a flagrant foul. If you don't believe it's a flagrant, it's like, oh, well, this is their team best player. We can't disqualify them with a flagrant foul and all the penalties that'll come from that. Right? At minimum, it's an intentional foul. Just because a player is on offense, right? We are not limited to player control foul in that situation. We can obviously have intentional and flagrant. This is, to me, textbook, right? Sometimes we have players who are in a vulnerable position. Somebody comes from behind, violently shoves them on the way to the basket, and we say, okay, that's easy flagrant. When this player, does he know where that player is who's behind him? Does he know? Yes. Yes, he does. Is that violent or savage contact? Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Again, if this player, it turns out, next day, he's not playing. Why? He's got a concussion, right? Would that be a shock? No, we expect it in this situation. That is quite a shot to the head, and that was not simply a player moving with their body, etc. They swung their elbows, knowing where the player was. This is a flagrant foul and has to be upgraded. Now, great job by our new lead, slowing our official down and saying, hey, we have to talk about that play. Great job by our center official getting in, having proximity on the players. Let's just, a little frustrating. It's a little frustrating. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, we look at this play, plays similar to this. Now, players can inadvertently contact due to a pivot. They can contact with the soft part of their arm. They can contact with the hard part of their arm. They can, those things can happen inadvertently. This was not inadvertent. This player knew where the player was and sent a message, and the contact itself was violent or savage. We have to protect players from this kind of activity if we want our players to be safe in the game. Hey, back at the start of the video, we had play number 1, a dribbler going to the floor, standing up, picking up the basketball. Let's look at all of the things on play number 1. All right, on this play, we have a dribbler, right? They put the ball on the floor, slip on the floor, stand and pick up the basketball. Is this a legal play? What do we know about a player who falls to the floor? First of all, is that traveling? Is that traveling? What do we have on this play? Right, we can review all the things. A player who is holding the ball may not touch any part of their body other than their hands and feet to the floor. Does this player, when they go to the floor, are they holding the basketball? Right? That's our first question, right? This player is dribbling, slips on the floor. Why didn't we check the floor beforehand? And then stands and pick up the ball, right? We know that a player who is on the ground holding the basketball cannot take this action. But does our player who goes to the floor, when is the last time that they were actually holding the basketball? Which is going to be key to our whole equation on this play. This player slips. They are not holding the basketball. They stand up. They are not. And then they are holding the basketball. So after they put the football down for the first time they actually held the basketball was when they were standing and they picked the ball up. There is no restriction on any of the activity on this play. Dribblers can go to the floor. They may not be holding the basketball and go to the floor, touching anything other than hands or feet. A player who's on the floor holding the basketball may not place the ball on the floor, stand up, and pick up the basketball, but this player was never holding the ball on the floor. So, in the end, we have a legal play. Dribbler went to the floor legally, stood up legally, no rules were violated on the play. A great no call by our officials on this play. Let's look at a bonus play, a little less drama, and let's look at a bonus play.
20. Jenkins, the only player in double figures, behind the back, contact, ball tipped away, jump ball, and it'll go out to Anderson County. They've used aggressive defense on Jenkins to cause contact, and she, with the possession arrow, avoids back-to-back turnovers.
Yes, and anytime you have Josie Gilvin playing on the top of the defense, it is so hard to get through her with her deflections.
Inbounds almost stolen, but it was kicked with the foot by Josie Gilvin. Long arms of Gilvin. Saw a lot of good 5'10" to 6'1" wings with long wingspans, or as one coach called it, condors. One of the officials stopping things here, and one of the officials coming over to the official score to talk to him. They double check something, and we play on.
All right, great kick save by our defender on this throw-in. Okay, so this play emphasizes the fact that during an alternating possession throw-in, the ball is kicked by an opponent, or there was some other violation or foul, that the throw-in has not ended. In this situation, the kicked ball, the resulting throw-in right here is when we have a resulting throw-in, in this situation, it is not an alternating possession throw-in any longer. That throw-in has not ended. This throw-in is a throw-in for a kicked ball violation. Who knows that? The officials hopefully know. Nobody else knows. Our table crew doesn't know. Our coaches don't know, etc. This is not an obvious play that everybody knows the ruling on. But it's great to have it on video from a couple of years ago, 2021, so we still had team fouls 6 and 7, right? The resulting throw-in after the kick ball is a throw-in for the kicked ball. It is not an alternating possession throw-in. At the end of the resulting throw-in, we will not switch the possession arrow. Of course, when is the possession arrow switched? It's switched when the throwing team violates, when the ball is legally touched in bounds or touched in bounds or out of bounds. Okay, so in this situation, yeah, it's just great to see this and think it through. Now we note our trail official comes in. He knows, right? Those two officials are communicating. Our center official has gone to the table. Great recognition here. Hey, hold up, right? Our crew is out of position, right? We need to relay to our, scorer who may be holding up the possession arrow or ready to switch it. This resulting throw-in is no longer an AP arrow. Red will keep the arrow after this throw-in ends. So it's just great to see that play. We don't see it often. This is great, high-quality video. So we just re-emphasize the fact that recognizing the resulting throw-in here is for the violation and not an AP throw-in. All right, fantastic. Appreciate you joining. Appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. Have additional video content, and in addition, be a great time to do all of the things. The liking, the subscribing. Hit the like button. That's not hard to do. Come on. In addition, we have an opportunity to thank our tremendous show supporters today. Who's up on the show supporter big board? Ted Haeder is up on the big board. Randy Wilson. James M. Very mysterious. Warrior Savage. Wow. Chad Hartley. Much appreciated. Much love. You know where to find all the things. Yeah. If you want to support the show, become a show supporter. Get your name up on the big board. You know what to do. All right, fantastic. Additional video content available. Here's the link to the correctable error training available as well. All right, fantastic. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you in the very next video. Take care.